You're listening to WTIM, your information station. It's time now for your expanded local news. The Taylorville City Council is set to meet on Monday, August 18th. The council will review the authorization of personal property concerning several motor vehicles, a resolution revising spending limit policy, and a motion to recommend to the City Council to approve a special events permit for the Kiwanis Kids Day on September 19th and September 20th. Other motions include special events permits for the 2025 Homecoming Parade on Wednesday, October 8th, and the 2026 Graduation Parade on Friday, May 15th of 2026. Under committee reports, the council will look to approve the purchase and installation of a new videocom system at the fire department. As far as the fire department goes, there is a motion to promote Jeff Stoner to captain. There is a motion in the agenda for pay requests for work on well number 3 and concrete repairs at the Tasty Treat. Under Lake/Airport, the council will look at approving deer and duck drawing, existing hunting ground lease renewals, and construction phase service agreement for the Rehabilitate Runway. As always, there will be the city attorney and mayoral updates as well as public comments. Stay tuned to regional radio news for more following the conclusion of tonight's event. After what felt like a long year of building, the new Starbucks has opened in Taylorville off Route 29. As of November 2022, the company had 35,711 stores in 80 countries, with 15,873 of those being in the United States. The coffee place saw its first customer as Taylorville resident Casey DeVore went through the drive-thru. Her order was a venti hot white chocolate mocha with 1 pump of raspberry. The first customer inside was Letty Thompson, a 6-year-old who is reportedly a big Starbucks lover and wanted badly to be their very first customer, especially since it was her birthday. This is the second Starbucks to open in Taylorville, with the other location inside Kroger at 201 East Bidwell Street in Taylorville. The Taylorville Kiwanis Club and the Taylorville Fire Department co-sponsored a car seat safety day at the Taylorville Firehouse on Saturday. Parents who brought their vehicles with car seats were pleased to have their child's seat inspected, installed, and adjusted. All Taylorville firefighters are certified to install and inspect each child's safety seat. The Taylorville Kiwanis Club is part of a global organization of volunteers dedicated to improving the world one child and one community at a time. Weekly meetings are held Tuesdays at noon at the Taylorville Moose Lodge. For more information on the club, go to TaylorvilleKiwanis.com. Following National Dairy and Ice Cream Month, the St. Louis Dairy Council has turned their focus to living with lactose intolerance. Recognition and awareness surrounding lactose intolerance continues to grow, but some information remains relatively unknown. But how can we still get the essential nutrients that are found in most dairy products? Monica Nyman first shares, what is lactose intolerance?
Try to explain this as simple as possible. So I'm actually going to start with what is lactose. And lactose is a natural sugar that's found in milk and then any food that's made with milk, okay? So normally in our bodies, we produce an enzyme called lactase. It is in our intestine. And so we process lactose because that lactase breaks it down. But if you have lactose intolerance, you're not making enough of that lactase enzyme, okay? And so this is just an intolerance. It's like a food sensitivity. It's not an allergy. It's not a disease. But what happens is if you don't have enough of that enzyme to break down that milk sugar, you start to get some uncomfortable digestive symptoms. So like gas and bloating and things like that after you eat dairy foods.
Nyman says that lactose intolerance are often confused with having a milk allergy. She goes on to explain the difference between an intolerance and a true allergy.
I talked about lactose intolerance, but a milk allergy is actually caused by a reaction to the protein that is found in milk. And so for people who have milk allergies, they are absolutely not able to eat or drink any dairy products or even products that have like the whey protein added to them, because it's a true allergy. So think about like, having difficulty breathing, like your immune system kind of responds to that, and you get hives and things like that. So people with milk allergies are not able to have any dairy products because it's a totally separate condition. However, a lot of people with lactose intolerance, and I hear this a lot from consumers, they say, oh, I'm lactose intolerant, I don't eat dairy. But guess what? There are actually lots of ways that you can still consume dairy foods.
As for products that still can be enjoyed with lactose intolerance, milk, yogurt, cheese, ice cream, and more are still on the table. Nyman shares the difference in lactose amounts in some of these foods.
Number one, you can start with a small amount of milk or dairy and kind of gradually increase until you find sort of that level that meets that tolerance. When you mix dairy foods with other foods, that slows digestion. So for example, maybe put milk on your cereal with some walnuts and berries. That's going to mix everything together and slow down digestion. One thing a lot of people don't know, but they always tell me, is that they can eat cheese. Cheese does not have very much lactose. It's less than a gram per serving, which is very, very, very low. You should be able to eat cheese and crackers, pizza, all different kinds of, a cheese board. That is not going to bother you because it doesn't have hardly any lactose in it. Yogurt is a really unique product because it has live and active cultures that helps to digest the lactose. And so yogurt is a little bit more tolerated, especially Greek yogurt, because it's thick and it's strained. And Greek yogurt has even less lactose than regular yogurt. Okay.
Additionally, over-the-counter medicine does exist. These lactase enzyme pills provide your body with the necessary amounts that are needed for digestion.
Two more things. You can try a lactase supplement. So over the counter, you can go to any store. It's in the medicine, kind of where you get the cough syrup and all that kind of stuff. They're called lactase enzyme pills. You take them right before you eat dairy, and they digest that lactose for you. Okay, make sure that you talk with your doctor if you're going to start taking any of these products, just to make sure that, of course, you have lactose intolerance. And then finally, there are lots of lactose-free dairy foods that are available in the grocery store, and those have that lactase enzyme added to them already, so it's kind of pre-digested for you.
Nyman goes on to say that it can be extremely difficult to replace your recommended dairy servings elsewhere in your diet. She shares what your body needs daily to function at its best.
Sure. So the whole dairy food group with milk, yogurt, and cheese, those foods provide a lot of nutrients for you. So calcium, potassium, vitamin D, protein. And so it's really difficult to get enough of those nutrients. It can be done, but you have to be very strategic at the foods that you're eating. So it can be very difficult to get enough of those foods if you're eliminating dairy from your diet. So again, we're talking about lactose intolerance. A lot of people just say, I'm going to stop eating dairy. I don't want to feel uncomfortable. And I completely understand that. But as we talked previously, there are so many different ways that you can still include those delicious dairy foods. So again, the dietary guidelines recommend 3 servings a day, a cup of milk, a cup of yogurt, or 1.5 ounces of cheese. And so including those in your diet, and then also looking for those lactose-free dairy foods at the grocery store, all of that can help you achieve those 3 servings a day goal each and every day.
Find out more about the St. Louis Dairy Council at stldairycouncil.org. Monica Nyman appeared as a guest on the WTIM Morning Show. This will conclude the first portion of your expanded local news, and it's brought to you by Taylorville Community Credit Union.
Hi, this is Will Perkins with Taylorville Community Credit Union. When you become a member of TCCU, you become an owner and have access to our great loan rates, earn great dividends on our deposit accounts, have access to our full range of financial products, and will receive personal attention from people you know. Membership is open to anyone who lives or works in Christian, Montgomery, and Shelby County. We are conveniently located in Taylorville, Hillsboro, Litchfield, and Pana. You can also visit us online at www.tccu.org. Come join us. You'll wonder why you waited. Member NCUA.
Foot traffic at the Taylorville Food Pantry remains steady heading into August. Kids are headed back to school and will regain a source for some meals. However, the need for families to buy school supplies may counteract some of that change. As such, staff at the food pantry are turning to the community for help, both in the form of donations and in time. Tyler Frump has been a volunteer at the Taylorville Food Pantry now for 10 years. She says there are openings for a variety of roles, which accommodate many preferences and needs for your work environment.
Yes. So there's a lot of filler jobs that a lot of people do not consider that actually, if you don't want to interact with the public, you absolutely do not have to. So back in the back, there is a section where we go through the fresh produce, pull the bad stuff, wash up the good stuff, and take it out and set it up. So that is a super easy job. You can even sit down if you need to, if you have some complications with health. If you're wanting to interact with the customers themselves, we are still desperately looking for shoppers. Those are the people that take you around the store and help you pick out all of your choices. And then, of course, there are stalkers as well. So sometimes while we're going through, some produce or some cans will go quickly. Everybody really likes that product. So somebody has to go in the back, find our extra stuff, bring it out, and set it up. So there's a lot of filler jobs that a lot of people aren't seeing, but they're there. And you don't have to interact with customers if that's not what your vibe is.
Many families who rely on the food pantry for their meals are also short on access to transportation. This need provides yet another way for people to lend their time and their resources.
So normally it is left up to the patrons themselves, kind of helping your neighbor out. However, a couple volunteers recently have stepped up to the plate and taken some people who are further out. We also know of two other helpers. I know the senior citizens here in Christian County, they will help with transportation as long as it is in advance. And then we've had a couple other helpers. So the Taylorville Police Department is our very last resort if that's what it comes to. And then there are some other volunteers who have really wanted to organize something but haven't gotten to it yet.
The food pantry is also taking food donations as always. Right now, though, produce is what's most in demand.
Yes, so we're actually looking for donations of fresh produce. So, of course, we have partnered with local businesses for those food rescue programs. But as time is going on, produce is becoming less and less available. So we're actually looking for people who have their own gardens that maybe aren't using all of their produce and are ready to send that down the road and help out, your neighbor in need. It can be truly anything: tomatoes, peppers, broccoli, could be fruits, even peaches, apples, whatever you're growing, we'll take it as a donation.
Having volunteered there for 10 years, Frump has seen the place evolve and expand its offerings. One such change involves meat, which patrons now have the option to have more options for, thanks in part to their facilities.
Absolutely. So since we switched to choice and we got those fantastic new freezers, meat picking has been much easier. It used to be that you would just get a sack and you just had to live with whatever was inside of the sack. So I'm glad that people now get the choice. But of course, since they get the choice, certain things will go versus others, like veggie burgers. They stay around a little bit longer. So we're looking for some donations of meat. This is perfect for hunters because we even take deer meat as long as it is processed by a plant that is federally regulated. So, we can take donations of any kinds, but meat we're looking forward to a USDA cutback.
The Taylorville Food Pantry is located at 1429 East Main Cross Street. They are open Tuesdays from 8:30 a.m. to 10 a.m., Thursdays from 5:30 p.m. to 7 p.m., and Saturdays from 8:30 to 9:30 a.m. More information is available at TaylorvilleFoodPantry.com or by calling them at their new number, 217-820-2651. Tyler Frump appeared as a guest on the WTIM Morning Show. An update on the Illinois soybean crop. Abigail Peterson serves as Director of Agronomy for the Illinois Soybean Association. IL Soy will have a significant presence at this month's Farm Progress Show with an agronomy tent and cover crop tent. It's been a sprint and maybe a marathon for the reigning Miss Illinois County Fair Queen this summer. Jonna Fulcher is from Henry County. She'll begin the fall semester at Illinois State University this week. That will conclude the second portion of your expanded local news, and it's brought to you by CNB Bank and Trust.
Looking for more from your checking account? With CNB's Premium and Gateway Checking, get buzzing benefits packed with perks that pay. Protect your phone with cell phone coverage. Save big on prescriptions, eye care, and hearing services with health savings. And shield your identity with ID Theft Aid. Plus 24/7 roadside assistance and access over 400,000 discounts from local shops to national brands. Switch to CNB Premium or Gateway Checking today. Download the Bazing app and start saving. Visit cnbil.com or stop by your local CNB branch. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Moving now to obituaries, which can be found at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com and are brought to you by Sutton Memorial Home.
When it comes to organizing your life, Sutton Memorial Home in Taylorville has some words of advice. Consider pre-planning your funeral. The death of a loved one can be a traumatic event in people's lives, and you can spare your family the burden of planning a funeral when they are grieving. Sutton Memorial Home knows that establishing a pre-arrangement assures that important decisions and your personal selection are made in advance and spares your family an additional burden at their time of loss. Sutton Memorial Home in Taylorville. Caring is what they do best.
51-year-old Christy L. Schulte of Kincaid died on August 13th. A memorial gathering is set for August 20th from 6 p.m. until 8 p.m. at Masterson Funeral Home in Kincaid. Funeral arrangements are being handled by Masterson Funeral Home in Kincaid. Find obituaries again at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com. For weather here today, a high of 91, heat index values as high as 105 degrees. Tonight, a 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms mainly after 1 a.m. That low drops to 73. And as we get into Tuesday, a 40% chance of showers and thunderstorms. It should be mostly sunny with a high near 90. Tuesday night, that chance of thunderstorms continues before 7 p.m. Get details on these and other local news stories at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com or on WTIM. WTIM is your only local news radio.